Hi guys. So in our last session, we spoke about lock and iLock. Okay, so location based uh, fetching data based on location and fetching data based on index of the location. Okay, lock and iLock, and that also with labels and without labels, right? Now on the topic of lock and iLock, there are a lot more operations that can be done on a set of data. Okay, now I have got a data set right here called Netflix shows. Okay, and it's there. I've kept it in the same folder as the Python program. So you can see the data here. Let's just inspect this data set once. Okay, the columns are title, rating level. Okay, it describes what kind of content is there inside the show. Then there is rating description. So now lower the rating description, um, the more childish the content is, and higher the rating description, that means that the content is much more adult. Like you see, 110 is for mature adults, whereas a rating of 10 is suitable for all ages. Okay. Now, if you see there is a column called release year, user rating score, and user rating size. Okay, there are a few NA values out here. For now, we'll do nothing about the NA, but when we get to the data cleaning part of it, we will deal with that later. For now, we'll take this data set as it is, and we will learn a bit more about lock and iLock. So my show's name, my Excel's name is Netflix shows.csv, and it's there. It has 1,000 rows of data, 1,000 shows, data of 1,000 shows of Netflix. Okay, so that is that. Now, okay, this is G. 1,001 shows not required. Okay, so oh, sorry, it's required. Not my bad. So there is a show here. Yes. Okay. So now Netflix shows, and this is obviously the title of the show. Okay, so this is the data set we are going to work on for today. I have put this CSV file right above the video section of your this of your TMR Live web page. Okay, so you will find the CSV file. You can import it and work on it just as we go ahead in this program. So now, first thing we have to do is we have to import that CSV file, okay, into a data frame. Okay, this is the first thing that we need to do from this data set. How we are going to do is, first obviously you have to do the default thing, that is import pandas as PD, import numpy as np. Okay, now creating the data frame from CSV. So what we do is let's call the data frame as Netflix, or yeah, Netflix is equal to pd dot read underscore CSV. Okay, so if you want to read any kind of a file, it has to be pd.read underscore and the file type. So in this case, it's pd.read CSV. Okay, and now we'll put the file name, that is Netflix shows. Okay, now as we do this, our file is gonna get imported, and all that data is gonna get sucked and put in a data frame called Netflix. So now I will print Netflix. Okay, and we'll see what we get. There you go. It's not going to print all the 1,000 rows. What it does is it just gives you an idea that yeah, this data is there and there are 1,000 rows and 7 columns of data in this data frame. Okay, obviously since we have the Excel sheet, we can see the structure of the data and what all columns and all are there. But from here you can see that the data is put in. Okay, now if you want an example of the data, Okay, you can print the first 5 rows by doing print Netflix dot head. Okay, so this dot head will print the first 5 rows. There you go. So this title, rating, blah blah blah, user rating, score, and user rating size, and the first 5 rows 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. Okay, so this is how you can see a sample. Check data frames. Okay, so this is what you do. Netflix.head. Now let's get on to our business. Okay, we studied lock and iLock in the last session. Now let's say I want to find all rows based on a certain condition. Okay, so I want to find all data that satisfy a certain condition. Okay, now what is that condition? I want all the shows, okay, with this rating description which is there. Okay, this is the user rating description as I showed you. If it's 10, that means it's suitable for all, and if it's 110, means it's for absolutely mature audiences. Okay, so I want all the shows whose rating description is less than 50. Okay, so how do I find that? Now I know the column name, so I'll go to Netflix dot lock, because that is the thing that we know, and then we go in rectangular brackets. Okay, and we put Netflix dot, what is the column name? Rating description. So Netflix dot rating description less than or equal to. So this will select all columns, okay, of this Netflix data frame which has a rating description less than equal to 50. Okay, now what I have to do is I have to print this out. There we go. Right now when I run this, there you go, I got 340 rows, okay, which have a rating description less than or equal to 50. Now unfortunately in this view you cannot see that rating description. Okay, so for that we'll have to do some other thing, but we'll talk about that later. Now I want to find all rows that satisfy multiple conditions. Okay, so I want all shows, okay, after the year, see this is the release year, right? Okay, let's not use release year, but let's do rating description. Okay, again, and let's do rating itself, TV 14. Okay, I want all shows which have rating description less than or equal to 100 and the rating. So this column rating description I want less than equal to 100, and this column I want all the shows which are rated as TV 14. Okay, so I want and this and this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print, okay, and Netflix dot lock. Okay, now again I have to go Netflix dot column name is rating description, right? Rating description, I want less than or equal to 100. Okay, that is the first thing I want, so I'll put this entire thing in a set of round brackets. Okay, along with that ampersand, that's and, I want another condition, that is net dot rating. Okay, so this column is rating. So Netflix dot rating, I want that to be equal to dash 14. Okay, so this is gonna print all columns which satisfy both of these conditions. Okay, just to create a division, let me print out something. Shows that are TV 14 and description less than. So I'll print that out, and after that I'm going to print out the actual shows so we get an idea. So here, so this is where that line got printed out. Shows that are TV 14 and rating description less than 100. And then there are like 234 such shows, okay, which are like these. So these are shows which are meant for teens. Okay. Now this is selecting all rows of data that satisfy a certain condition or that satisfy multiple conditions. Similarly, now let's go to columns of data. So select only required columns which satisfy a condition. So select only required columns of data which satisfies a condition. Okay. So the rows will be the ones which satisfy the condition, and only the required columns will be printed out. So right here we saw a problem, right? That in this we cannot see this rating description column at all. Okay. So let's see that column along with the title. Okay. So we want this shows that are TV 14 and rating description less than 100. Okay, that was the condition. Okay, and we want those that satisfy a particular condition. So how are we gonna deal with that? Okay, so what I'm gonna do is first I'll show you a normal example and then we will check this example. Okay, so let's check this the shows which are TV 18. Okay, I want the title column and the rating description column, the one which is not seen here, TV 14. Okay, shows which are TV 14. So for that, I'm gonna type out Netflix.lock square brackets. Okay, Netflix.rating equal to, okay, this condition has to be in round brackets also, just like earlier, is equal to quotes TV-8. Okay, double equal to, don't forget that. So this is your condition. This is exactly like this. Okay, but what I want to also do is sorry, TV-14. Okay, and what I also want to do is I want to print comma. I'm giving a list out here of columns that I want to print out. First is the title column. Second is the rating description column. Okay, so I just want to print out these two columns of the show whose rating is TV 14. Okay, so this is how I put the conditions. Netflix.loc, then rectangular brackets. In these rectangular brackets, okay, where is, in these rectangular brackets, you first put your condition in round brackets, comma, and then you add a list of columns that is there. Okay, so now when I print this entire thing, okay, I'm going to get selected columns. So I'll just write print so columns of show that are rated TV 14. Okay, now when I run this, I get this columns of shows that are TV 14. I get this column, that is the title column, and the rating description column. I get 234 rows and 2 columns, and this is obviously a data frame. Okay, so from that data frame, I've selected a tiny data frame, and then you, whatever you want to do, you can do this. You can either print it out, or you can assign this to a variable like Netflix 1 or data frame 1 or something, and then you can do all operations on it. Now, what operations you can do on a data frame, we will learn that in a later session. Right now, we are just seeing how to select data which satisfies certain amount of conditions. Okay, so this was that. Okay, selecting only required columns with a condition. Now, as I told you, we have this condition right here. Okay, shows that are TV 14 and rating description less than 100. Okay, I want to print title column and description column. Okay, I want to print these two columns. So this is the variation that I'm going to do. So obviously I'm going to do netflix.loc, and then I'm going to add one set of round brackets where this condition is there. Then I'm going to add a comma, and then I'm going to add a list of these two columns that I want. One is the title column and the other is the rating description column. Okay, both of these are in a list. Okay, and now when I print this, these are shows that are TV 14, rating description less than 100, print title column and rating description columns. This is that. This is how we do that. So this problem which we were facing here, okay, which will be out here, shows that are TV 14 rating and rating description less than 100. Here you could not see the rating description of these shows. Now you can see the rating description of these shows. Similarly, you can add the rating column also out here. There we go. So now we'll get to see all the three columns of these. So these are the show names, these are the ratings, and these are the rating descriptions. So this is how you can create a mini database from a mega database of lot of values with just the selected data that you want. Okay, so I hope you guys are enjoying this session, because there are a few more things that I want you guys to do with the data. So, and also I want you guys to practice this on your own screen. I'm giving you the data set, and do not take this lightly, because Pandas is a very central thing to data science. Okay, most of your work is going to get quickened because of Pandas. You could have imagined that if you wanted to do this, okay, using if and for loop, you would have to run, you would have to have put a for loop and then if loop and then another if loop and nested if loop in that, and then you would have to find the data and print it out. This you are doing it in one line. This is the power of Pandas. Okay, so do not underestimate that, right? So this is selecting the data. Now what we want to do is, the next thing we want to do, let me, so that it's more visible, I want to update values of a particular column in selected rows. Okay, so let's see. So you have a data frame of data. Now based on some certain conditions, you want to edit that data and you want to update the data in some columns. Okay, how do you do that? So let's say that all the shows which have a rating of TV 14, okay, all the shows which have a rating of TV 14, I want to change their rating level. Okay, so this is parents strongly cautioned, may be unsuitable for children aged 14 and under. Okay, this is what TV 14 is. What I want to do is, for all TV 14 values, okay, I want to change the rating to, instead of this entire sentence, I want this rating level to be changed to above 14. That's it, two words, above 14. So instead of this sentence, above 14 should appear in the data frame. So how do I do that? Okay, again you do the same thing, netflix.loc, okay, square brackets, then in the round brackets I'll put my condition, that is netflix dot rating equal to tv 14. Okay, I'm going to put that condition. On putting that condition, I'll put a comma, and then I'll put the column name or list of columns, whatever it is. So currently we have one column called rating level, right? This column which we want to change, this one is called rating level. Okay, obviously in quotations. Okay, rating level. Okay, and equal to, and so basically rows which satisfy this condition where netflix dot rating is tv 14, then in the rating level column is equal to, I have to put whatever I want, so above 14. Okay, so this is how I want this. Okay, now what I want to do is, once I've done this, I want to print the data frame. Okay, but if I print the data frame, the rating level column will, I'll print the data frame called netflix. Okay, and we'll see what happens. So here it printed the data frame, but I cannot see the damn column. Why? Because of the restriction that Python has, that it's not going to print out everything. So we need to specify the columns that we want to print out. So we learned how to specify the columns that we want to print out, right? If we want to print out specific columns, okay. So I want to print out columns which have TV, this condition here, okay. Columns which have TV 14 as the ratings. Okay, I want to print out the title and I want to print out the rating level. Okay, now when here I have made the changes in this statement, and here I am printing out these two columns and checking if the changes are made or not. So there you can see that these shows which are TV 14 shows, all of them, their rating level column is now changed to above 14. Okay, so you can change a particular column based on some condition. Okay, so that is one thing. Now what if you want to change multiple columns based on a certain condition? Okay, so again let's do that. Multiple columns based on rows selected by a certain. Okay, so again here I have just updated this rating level column. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to update the rating level column to above 14, and I want to update this column, this user rating score wala column, where this all these numbers, I want to make that value as 100. Okay, I want to make that value as 100. So I want to change these two columns. So again I'm going to first edit the database. So netflix dot loc, okay, rectangular brackets, then in round brackets I'm going to put the condition, that is netflix dot rating is equal to tv 14. Okay, so this is my condition, comma, in a list I'm going to put the name of the columns that I want to edit. So obviously I want to edit the rating level column. Okay, and I want to edit the column called as what is the name, user rating score. Okay, so user space, this is the name of the column that I want to edit. Okay, now in this equal to, I'm again going to put a list. Okay, the first value is going to change this rating level wala column, that is above 14, and the second value that I put is going to change user rating score to 100. Okay, now again I want to print certain columns of this that match this, and I want to check the, so I'm going to print title, rating level, and the user rating score. Okay, so I'm going to print these columns here which satisfy this condition. So here you go. So these are the same shows which have the rating of TV 14. This is the rating level above 14 and the user rating score. Let me add the rating column also, so that you can see the entire picture. So this is the show name. They are rated as TV 14. They are above 14 rating level and user rating score is 100. So this is how you can update the value of a single column or a lot of other columns based on the location. Now all this is good when the labels are known. Okay, when you know the labels of the columns, you can play around like this with the LOC. Okay, now let us see how we can play with the iLock. Okay, um, this is gonna be pretty easy, the iLock thing. I agree this video has gone on for pretty long, but I think 5 more minutes and we'll be done. So iLock, as we learned in the last session, okay, it will give you a certain value. Okay, so let's see. iLock based data selection techniques. Okay, in the last session we learned the basic iLock thing. So if I do netflix.ilock square brackets 0 comma 2, what is it going to print out? Okay, if I print this out, what is my output gonna be? Okay, here I have put this on your screen. Now you can check it out and you can tell me, if I do netflix iLock 0 comma 2, what is it gonna print out? Okay, so I'm just gonna run this, and whatever is the last value is what gets printed out. That is crude sexual humor and language and some drug content. So basically this got printed out in 0 comma 2. Why? Because this is the 0th row. Okay, they have ignored this row. Why? Because this row has all the column names in it. So this is your 0th row. Okay, column 0, column 1 and column 2. So this thing is what got printed out, this string of values. Similarly, if I do 0 comma 3, I would have got the number 80 out here. There we go. So you can see 80, right? So this is your basic iLock based data selection. Okay, now what if I want to select particular rows from their index numbers? Okay, so these values, this 2, 3, 5, 7, all these are row indexes. Okay, and 0, 1, 2, 3 on top, default column indexes so are there only, like how you have learned in previous lists and all. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these are your column indexes, and 0, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, these are your row indexes starting from this. Okay, so now these are your row indexes. Okay, these are your row indexes. Okay, so now what if I want to print the rows 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 or whatever, 2, 4, 5, 7, 10 or something like that based on the index? What do I do? Index numbers. Okay, what I have to do is I have to print, okay, then I go in Netflix, iLock, okay. Then I have to make another list of rows that I want to print out, 2, 4, 5, 7, okay. Only this. If I do only this, okay, if I give a list inside the iLock square brackets, it's gonna print out the rows, okay. So 2, 4, 5, 7 and 10, okay. Now if I want to print out rows 2, 4, 5, 7, 10, okay, uh, there you go. If I want to print rows and column based on the index numbers, so let's say I want to print only column 0, 1, 2 and rows 2, 4, 5, 7, 10, okay. Then what I have to do is netflix.ilock, okay. Then square brackets. In the first set of square brackets, I'm gonna give 2, 4, 5, 7 and 10. Then I'm gonna put a comma. I'm going to add another set of square brackets. Now in this I'm going to give the columns, right? So this, as you see, rows, comma, column, okay. So in the 0, comma, the first example. So here if there's only one list, it's a list of rows. But if I put two lists out here, this is your list of rows that you want to display, and this is a list of columns that you want to display, okay. And this is how this iLock thing works. So there you go. Rows 2, 4, 5, 7, 10. Column 0 is title. Column 1 is your rating, which it did not choose to print. And then column 2 is that rating level, which is above 14. Parental guidance, above 14, and parental guidance. Okay. So this is that. Print rows and columns based on their index numbers. Okay. So similarly, I can just print columns based on their index. Okay, how do I print columns based on index numbers? That is, I go in Netflix .ilock. Okay. Now, first set of rows have to be blank. Okay. I only want to put columns. So I want all the rows and only some columns I want. Okay. Now, how do I do that? I'll put a colon here, comma, and then set of columns 0, 1. So this will give me all the rows and 3 columns. So 1000 rows and 3 columns. That is what it gives me. So I put a colon here for which means all the rows, comma, and then set of columns. Okay. So this is print column based on their index numbers. Okay, so that leaves us with one last thing that you can do based on iLock, and then we are done with this session. So if you remember how we index lists, okay, that way we can select a range of rows using iLock. How do we do that? Is simple df netflix dot iLock 1 to 4. Okay. So netflix.ilock 1 to 4. If I print this out, what it does is select a range of rows using iLock. Okay. So if I do Netflix 1 to 4, it's gonna print out row 0. So here, this lucky number 7, then 2, then 3, so and 4. So these 4 things are gonna get printed out by Python. So let's see. Okay, these 3 things. Sorry, my bad. So it's gonna print out 1, 2, and 3. Lucky number, Selvin, Grey's Anatomy, and Prison Break. So this is exactly like Python. Okay. Similarly, you can select range of columns using iLock. Okay, again you will print Netflix dot iloc. Okay, and then I'm going to give a range of columns. So I want column 1 to 5. Okay, so that will print column rating level, that this is 1 2, this is 0 1 2 3 4. It's gonna print from rating to rating release year. These 4 columns are gonna get printed. Okay, there you go. Rating to release year, all these columns. Okay, so this is how a mini database gets created for your data using a range of columns using iloc. Okay, now same way you can select a range of rows and columns using iloc. So in this you are doing nothing but combining the above two things. Okay, so it's gonna be netflix.iloc and I'm 4 comma columns 1 to 5. There we go. So it's gonna print out these 3 rows and these columns. So you can't see it here, but it actually creates a data frame, mini data frame from a mega data frame. So you're basically, what we did in this session was select certain amount of data based on certain conditions and created smaller data frames, or we selected particular values, and then based on those values you can do operations and all later. So what else can be done with all these data frames is what we are going to learn in the next session.